Hi folks, welcome back to the Nancy Drew Book Lovers. Alrighty, happy Tuesday. I hope all of you had a great yesterday, a great today. Tomorrow I am hoping that I get paid early, because if I get paid early tomorrow, then I can order my stuff for this week's Nancy Drew book haul. So very happy about that. I am going to be taking a break from these yellow binding books for the next couple of days, because I'm going to go back and reread the first book in the Nancy Drew Diaries and do a review of that book once I am done. So this is review of The Sign of the Twisted Candles. This is book number 9 in the original Nancy Drew story. Mystery stories. So Nancy, Bess, and George are visiting the Twisted Candle Inn, I think it's called that. I know it's Twisted Candle, but I don't know if it's like the Twisted Candle Inn or Twisted Candle Inn. Anyways, so Nancy, Bess, and George go there, and she encounters a girl called Carol Whipple, and she has these two man and woman who is her adopted family, or her foster family, and they're very, very sketchy. And then you have a guy called Ira, who lives in this tower bedroom, and Carol basically feeds him and ensures that he is comfortable. And so during the time that Nancy, Bess, and George are there, Ira and Nancy meet, and Nancy tells Ira that her father is an attorney, and because Carson is so famous in River Heights, he asks her to have her father come to the inn and basically help to draft a new will. Shortly after Ira makes the will, he passes away, and we discover, we discover, I don't know if it's before or after he dies, but it's gotta be before. We find out that Bess and George's families are related to him, and they have this big family feud and things like that. And how quickly Bess and George distance themselves from Nancy is shocking. Like, I remember when I read this book for the first time, I was like, whoa, wait a second here. Why is it that Bess and George, they've been friends with Nancy for I don't know how long. Why is it that they turn on her so quickly? And I still ask that question. I ask that question all the time when I see this cover. I'm like, yeah, Bess and George turned on Nancy. Like, like when Ned talked to Bess, he was shocked at like how cold Bess had gotten. He made a comment that Bess is as cold as an ice as an ice cube. So when Ira dies, it discovers that Carol is getting most of the estate, and of course the family members are not happy about it. But the difference between not being happy about it and committing kidnapping, there's a difference. So what ends up happening is it puts a big target on Carol's back, and this happens to her. Well, Nancy discovers that Carol's adopted parents are trying to steal as much from the estate as they can. They take candlesticks, they take furniture, they do all of this stuff to try to get money from an estate that they don't have any permission to take. So Nancy is determined to not only to protect Ira's basically estate, but also to protect Carol, who has the right to a big portion of Ira's estate. At the end of it, we find, well, at the end of it, not only the bad guys caught and everything, but we find out that Carol is related to Bess and George. So she got new family members. Anyways, yeah. So, did I like this book? I did. This is actually the second time that I have actually read this book. So I read the first time like several months ago, and then I read it. I finished this book yesterday. Anyways, so yeah, so I started reading this on. No, sorry. I started reading this book on Sunday. I finished it yesterday, and now I'm reviewing it today. So, give it 5 stars. It is a great book. And so I have number 10, and that is officially, for right now, the last physical book in the Nancy Drew original series that I own. That will change later on this week when the Amazon delivery driver shows up with my my books and all that stuff. Okay, that is my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. So until then, keep reading your Nancy Drew books and keep solving those mysteries. Bye.